Very good morning to all of you. We have today for the Institute Innovation Council and Technology Business Incubator of the Institute a very great day today. To address you, we have a very eminent personality, Mr. Rajesh Nair, Professor of Practice, Visiting Scholar at MIT and Innovation and Entrepreneurship area. And he is also a Professor of Asia Business School, Kuala Lumpur. Veteran in entrepreneurship and innovation education as well as practice. He has been guiding many institutions including IIT Palakkad and many other famous institutions in their entrepreneurship activities. Without wasting much time on introducing him, rather you can go to rajeshnair.me to the website to know more about him. So we have here Mr. Rajesh Nair to guide you through your innovation and to think more about the innovation to make it into a sustainable venture. We are so lucky to have him here through Mr. Anandamani, who is the President of Calicut Management Association, very active President of CMA, and CMA, the Calicut Management Association, is one of the chapters which is an award-winning chapter of All India Management Association, and we have the President of CMA here. In fact, the Incubation Center at NIT is having a very close interaction with the CMA, and we are so happy that CMA has been guiding us in many of our ventures. So both these personalities we have here, and I would like to extend a very hearty welcome to the Institute to both of them to spend some money and to interact with you. Of course, we have Professor Kumarave, who is very familiar to all of you, very active with as the President of Institute Innovation Council. Under him, we have conducted a lot of activities which is beneficial to all of us. So, welcome you also, sir. Now, handing over the platform to Shri Anandamani, the President of CMA, to say a few words to you. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Professor Kumarave, Mr. Rajesh Nair, Chief Guest of the day, AP, my Secretary Srinath, Sarut, and all others here in the meeting. It's a very fine morning and deep gratitude to each one of you for being here to attend this session which CMA is jointly doing with Institution Innovation Council of TBA and NIT. My thought was to how to make the best use of this presence here in Canada. I found that so dignitary is coming, and whether CMA and NIT can associate and do one thing immediately, that was taken with full great honor and gratitude to Professor Kumarave for giving the consent, and special thanks to you for passionately driving it. Above all, deep gratitude to you, Mr. Rajesh, for accepting the invite to address these students, and I think it's the glory of this visit is going to be yours, and I'm cutting short my talk by saying these words. So let the day be yours with the best takeaways for you guys with respect to the content, and even post the session, I hope you can have a good interaction with him.
Listening to me would be boring. I thought it should be an interactive session. Okay? So, basically, I'd like four of you to move your chairs so that you're facing each other 2 by 2. Just turn your chairs. You're going to be working in teams. Right? So, whoever is sitting next, just jump in. It doesn't matter if you're faculty or students. This is going to be an interactive session on ideation, how to create ideas and such. So, yeah, just go if you just turn around. Yeah, you should actually, 3 of you should join. Yeah, just so that you should be within speaking distance. So,
dear participants, all of you may understand why we change the venue from electrical seminar hall to seminar hall, because of this one. There we cannot change the table, but here we can change the table.
Oliver will get up, move your chair, sit down, so they all face each other. Okay, that's another wake up point. So this is good. So just a little intro. I'm an electrical engineer. I'm a product designer. I did electronic product design, manufacturing engineering, systems design at MIT, and been a product designer for 30 years. Okay, and a serial entrepreneur in Boston area. And the last 6 to 7 years, I've been a professor teaching innovation and entrepreneurship. So kind of had 4 careers in my life. So I can tell you, you're all going to, whatever you think you're graduating from is not what you're going to be doing in the next 7 years. Okay, this is just, your undergrad is basically you're learning to learn. So take it from that point of view. Okay, so first I just want to cover a few things. What is entrepreneurship? Anyone, can you talk about what is your idea of entrepreneurship? Anyone? Come on. You can just shout out. This is not even interactive. This is a, you know, as I say, with a contact sport. Okay. This is not just sitting and listening. Anyone? Just speak up.
Making profit out of our ideas.
Okay, making profit out of our ideas. Good. No, that's okay. Don't worry. I'll just repeat that. Okay. Anyone else?
Doing things that we are passionate about.
That's wonderful. You should actually be passionate about what you do. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 ideas, 2 concepts here. And again, entrepreneurship is a combination of several ideas. It is kind of hard to say entrepreneurship is just this. So I will start with, I would define entrepreneurship as gainfully solving an unmet need. So there are 4 major words here. Okay, first is need. Question is, what is it doing? What is the problem you're trying to solve? Whose problem is it? How big is the problem that you're trying to solve? Always start entrepreneurship with the problem. Okay, and before I get to the session, I just want to cover that. Second is, when you say unmet, that means there is a problem that has not been solved. Why is it not being solved? What are the constraints that is stopping from being solved? And who are the stakeholders? Who are the players in the problem space? Next is solve it. That means what is the solution? What is the strategy? Now, how do you reach your customer? How do you inform your customer that this solution exists? That's all part of the entrepreneur's job. The last part is gainful. That means, what do you invest in your company? What are your responses? What are your resources? What do you have? How much can you return? Can you get back from the investment? What are the risks associated with it? How long do you have to be doing this to make your money? How can you grow? So again, it is not a simple concept. It is a collection of a lot of ideas. Okay, so don't ever assume that entrepreneurship is something in a switch that can be turned on. It is a collection of several skills, and there are 2 parts to it. One is skills. Second is mindset. Your attitude decides what your entrepreneurship abilities are. Okay, I'll be talking about that in the evening later. So, you have 2 sides. One is a need to solve, other one is a method to solve. One is a problem, other one is a solution. Normally in universities, we start with the solution. Say, I have technology, you're doing research in something, you have some technology. Now let me go find a problem using technology. The other option is, I found a problem, let me go find the technology that I can solve it with. Okay? Most of the time, the right to left is a stronger method than left to right. There's a whole different level of discussion we can have. But where do you start your discussion on what to do for entrepreneurship? Okay, so next question is, why do you want to innovate? What is innovation, by the way? No, innovation is not invention. Innovation is application of existing technologies to solve an existing problem in a different way. Okay? Now, I don't know if you have seen this curve. This curve, they call it the S curve, where when you have a technology, say Kodak used to do chemical films for 100 years. They made all their money, and at some point they started seeing the new thing called the digital photography coming. Kodak said, "Nah, we are making all our money in chemical photography." They thought digital will never actually become. Before you knew, digital started picking up and Kodak has gone back up. This thing has happened to Blockbuster. If you look at the local taxi drivers, what Uber did to taxi drivers is exactly the same. A whole new way of solving exactly the same problem, which kind of swept away the previous ways of doing things. So if you do not try to disrupt yourself, somebody else is going to disrupt you. So innovation cycles, the cycle of innovation, the time constant for innovation is getting shorter and shorter. So that means if you came up with something, somebody else is going to come up with something new very soon. So your job is to keep thinking about how to disrupt yourself. So don't ever think that I have a solution that is going to last for 20 years. Those days are gone. Okay? So why I am saying this is that it is so important to start to think about new ways and ideas of solving. So I want to start with an exercise in ideation. So do you all have your teams? Anyone stragglers who would say, "Hey, I am alone, I need to find somebody." Okay, hopefully you have your team, because this is so. Priti is going to give out some sticky notes. Okay. I'm going to give you a problem. The problem is that mobile phones and just if you have one box for each group, do you have enough? Okay, then I think give half of this each group. So the problem is that today kids are using mobile phones. Okay, I don't know if you have seen in your families more kids. In my days there were no phones, there was no mobile phone. Our biggest technology I had in my house was a transistor radio, which was on pretty much all the time. Till the radio station here went off air. Okay, so those days there were no FM, by the way. Okay, so you guys are all fully spoiled. So I want you to think about this as a problem, and the impact of mobile phones on children are in different levels. So their brain activity is being affected by mobile phones, constant interaction with mobile phones. The academic performance, is affected. They get to see inappropriate media that they should not be seen because they have access to it. They sleep disruption, they get into medical issues, depression, all these kind of things, and online harassing and bullying and all these kind of things all happen because they are actually online. This is actually affecting kids' lives. Okay? So my question to you is, how can you control the impact of mobile phones on children? This is the problem statement. Okay? All of you got it? How can you control the impact of mobile phones on children? So I'd like you to use your sticky notes and write one idea per sticky note and put it on your collective table so that you can all see, and starting and let me see. Yeah, everybody got sticky notes? Yeah. Okay. Are you alone? No, are you with the team?
There's a team just.
Okay, you need to go join a team. Okay, I think you turn around and make it 2 teams of 3s. Okay, there's a 5 there, so then that can be 4 too. You can turn this way. Good. See? All you got to do is turn 90 degrees and you are in a different team. Okay? Okay, so got it. Your job now for the next, I'll give you 3 minutes. Just speak up loud.
Develop an app to monitor their doing.
Sorry?
Develop an app to monitor their doing.
Develop an app to monitor what they're doing. Okay? Parental control. So, okay, fine.
Artificial browser, like
Artificial?
Browser.
Browser, okay. Okay, I didn't understand what it does, but sure, anything else? Who else?
Low radiation, low resolution replacement product to be
No radiation?
low radiation, low resolution
Okay.
replacement product for
Or low resolution, low radiation products, so that we can use that.
Attractive toys. Attractive toys.
Attractive toys, okay, very different kinds of toys. Okay, so we all had heard some ideas. I'm sure you have a lot more ideas than that. Okay, so you kind of talked about these ideas. How many of you understood other people's ideas? And they said, that's a good idea. You know, almost all of us, when you heard the idea, we would understand. Okay, and the construct is that if you had an idea and 9 out of 10 people understood your idea, you should drop it. Why? If you could, that means it is so obvious that everyone could understand. That means 9 million people could have thought about the same thing. That idea doesn't really have value. If you gave an idea, okay, join in. Let's just pull up your tables. If you gave an idea and 9 out of 10 people say this is not going to work, that means you are thinking in a direction that others cannot imagine. Okay? They haven't thought about it. When Uber wanted to start their company, people wouldn't give them money. They said, no, this is not going to work. When Twitter started, they said 140 characters. When people have texting and everything else, why would you want to start a company with only 150 characters, 140 characters? Several companies did not get funding because others could not understand what you were trying to say. Okay? Now your job is to think outside the bubble of obvious ideas that you have. That's a job here. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If a pencil, if a pencil and an eraser together cost $1.10, and if the pencil costs $1 more than the eraser, what is the cost of the eraser? Speak up. 0 point? Okay, anyone else? Speak up, just say it out. Come on, you guys should be able to say the answer really fast. Okay? How many of you said 10? So, what happens is that normally first thing that comes to our mind is 10. Okay? I run this all the time. And it's 10 cents. Why? Correct answer is 5. You're right. Okay? So this is because there's a book by Daniel Kahneman. He got Nobel Prize for economics. So he said, in our mind we have 2 ways of thinking. One is system 1, which is impulsive, instinctive, and they come to an answer really, really fast from our past experience. The moment you're given if I say the light is not working, it's all the bulb is fixed. Okay? And then we spend our time trying to fix the bulb without actually analyzing the switch off or there's no power or whatever else. Okay, so we kind of think about it in one way. System 2 is analytical. It gets deeper into analysis. So if I had asked you what is 268 times 943, you don't have an answer. You have to go analytically, you have to take a calculator and tell it. Okay? So that is the second side of way of thinking. When the first way comes back with an answer, you don't even go into the analytical way of thinking. Okay? So can you just draw this in each of you, just draw this on your sticky note. It's a pretty straightforward. You have 1 square or 4 squares with part square here. Yeah, that's right. Okay?
Can you
So-
have this larger one?
Okay, so my first challenge is, can you divide the area A into two parts quickly? Okay, and I think you got it. Now, can you divide area B into three parts? This is what you have done. Can you divide area C into four parts? Can you take give me 4 seconds? Okay, here. Okay, can you divide area D into 7 parts? Okay, how many of you have trouble? Yeah, but the answer is this. Why did I give you this exercise? It's because your system 1, I just took you to think like system 2. But if I had asked you the square the first time, you would have just straight away drawn 7 lines. There were 6 lines in between and you would have had 7 parts. But I took you in an analytical mode that you thought you could not go into the system A thinking. No. So when you're thinking of ideas, you have to use system A, system 1 and system 2. Okay? So this is very critical because the moment you get an idea, a few things happen. You think, oh, I know everything about this problem. You believe you know everything about it. Most of you do not. Most of us do not. And then we start to dig deeper and deeper into the same solution without actually coming out and looking for other solutions. So think about it in system A way, system 1 thinking and system 2 thinking. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a method of ideation. Okay. And the ideation primarily is, I want you guys to each team shout out an idea so that your teammates can hear the idea. Write it on a sticky note and put it there. Others can build on your idea. Okay, so you may say something and others can make it, build on it, make it crazy, make it silly, make it funny. Because if you're serious, even if you have a serious face, you cannot think creatively. It's usually laughing and smiling when ideas start to flow. So these are the rules for ideation. One is, when somebody gives you an idea, don't say that that will never work. Never judge them, because this is you're working in fun in a fun situation. Encourage wild ideas. Go for the craziest ideas. Okay, you can think of anything you want, and make it funny. Build on others' ideas. Keep one conversation so that everyone can give one idea. If you say an idea, make sure that everybody hears it, and then the next person can hear. If you can draw your idea, that is good, but don't worry about it. I know you're going to be doing really fast. Go for quantity, as many ideas as possible. Okay? Got it? So the challenge again is to let me just. Okay. So with this, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Come up with as many ideas as possible for the same problem. How do you control impact of mobile phones on children? Starting now. Go for it. There should be a lot of noise. We are all trying to speak of ideas. Okay? And you should be right. Don't overthink. Don't overthink. If you just sit like this, okay, then you feel that is a small exercise. You should be involved. Yes. Okay, so how many of you got more than 10 ideas on the table? many of you got more than 10 each team? I'm not talking about individuals, the teams. You got 10, okay? How many do you have? 10. Okay. You got 10, okay? Okay, so we have some of you who are actually engaging and adding to the idea. Okay, so I want to talk about the biggest bottleneck we may have faced is that if somebody gave you an idea, how do you build on it? How do you act with that idea? Okay, so if I say you should have phones that will turn off, don't say phones that explode, phones that disappear, whatever. Okay, you're just making it crazy. You don't really have to make any of them feasible. But when you start to think of ideas, crazy ideas, infeasible ideas, you can always interpolate them back, make it feasible. And if we say that Superman is going to come in, or Hanuman is going to come in, do all these things, you can say at some point it will be broke, okay? But unless so what he was saying is that if you heard an idea, it could be a concept or product or algorithm, art, a piece of music. Okay? And if you're a musician, how do you use the concept of the riff from a music to something else? How do you build the next idea? Okay? So, okay guys, listen in. So, his thing was, if you had X, what is the next X? So he had 6 strategies for it. I'll go through each one of them. One is, if you heard an idea, take it to its next dimension. So long back, we used to share text. This is, I think you guys were not even born at that point. Okay. Then at some point, people started sharing audio, like Napster and such. These are all companies that existed. Then one company came and said, we're going to share images online, like Snapfish, and they got sold for $200 million. Then one company said, we're going to share videos, and they got sold for $1.5 billion. That is YouTube, by the way. Okay. Question is, they had exactly the same model, but they just took it to a different level. Now, if you look at the business model of Uber, Tinder, Birchbox, and Airbnb, you can use the same business model in all kinds of different things, from food to weed to laundry to just about anything. And people started companies using this. Okay? And I truly believe that Uber and Airbnb basically have the same business model of sharing. Okay? So these are all open spaces, and I believe that you can actually start a company. Okay? So now the second algorithm he said was, take 2 completely disconnected ideas and be connected together. In the long back, a boarding pass was a piece of card that the airlines gave me. Okay? And I had my phone in my hand. Somebody said, since you have your phone in your hand, why can't that be the boarding pass? And and they connected together, they created systems in every airport to create boarding pass on your phone. Now I think you may actually do that. You go scan it and walk out. They took these 2 completely 2 different ideas and put them together. So when NASA had this algorithm to look for terrestrial images and look for rock formation under the ground, and there was a doctor who listened to it and said, can you do that for looking for mammography, cancerous tissues? And it was the same software that was used for it. Now, I'm going to give you 2 images. One is a pencil sharpener, other one is a key strainer. So the moment you see this, if you see pencil sharpener as a pencil sharpener, then you cannot think beyond pencil sharpener. You should abstract the idea. Pencil sharpener, if I have to abstract the idea, it actually cuts something, forms something to make it into a different shape or different size or different whatever. It has to process something. Okay? So that is my idea of a pencil sharpener. My idea of a key strainer is to separate things by sizes, colors, weight, whatever else. It is going to separate things. So the moment you get an idea, abstract it. Abstract it. Go as 30,000 feet up and look at the idea from an abstraction point of view. Can you combine these two abstracted ideas to come up with a new idea? Or something that you have already seen? Anyone? So, sorry? Okay. Yeah, so I could say you could use quarry where it cuts metal or cuts rocks and shapes it into different sizes, and you can buy them in different sizes to gravel to large stones. Coffee beans, that does that. So you can actually combine the two to create some new concept. But if you look at it as pencil sharpener and dentist strainer, you're going to get stuck. You have to abstract it really, really fast. So, second thought was to take an idea and do exactly the opposite. Okay? How do you flip the idea upside down? So this is a story from Second World War when US Air Force planes were coming back. Somebody noticed that there was a pattern to bullet holes on the plane. So they said, wow, if we can protect these places, we should actually have additional reinforcement on those places so the planes won't be affected. So they were trying to add, really strong material in those areas. And it was a statistician who said, you know what? These are the planes that came back. Planes that got hit here actually died. They never came back. You should actually be reinforcing these areas. Okay? So that concept had to be flipped. Otherwise they would have gone out and done the same thing. So how do you take an idea and you flip it? So if I took the concept of a potato peeler, abstract it, what it does is it takes out the outside to get to the inside. Okay? Can you think of anything that does the other way? It gets to the inside without taking out the outside. Or paper. Sorry? Sharpener? Sharpener still takes out the outside thing to get to the inside. Okay? So I actually happened to see this somewhere. Somebody said, I can cut a hole and beat what is inside the watermelon, and here's the whole container. And all I need is a electric beater and a straw. I don't need containers, cups, nothing. Okay? So that is flipping the idea upside down. So the next strategy he gave was, if you can find a solution to a problem, find all the problems you can solve with them. Okay, so if you found a hammer, find all the nails. So give it a cool solution, see where else can be applied. One other thing is app. App has a tool solution for so many different things at this point. Okay? Now, if I gave this as a concept, what is the tape distance in it? If I can abstract it, I would say it disposes and cuts all with one hand. With minimum, you don't need multiple tools. Or the tool is already built into the container. Can you think of any other idea where you can apply the abstraction of the idea? Sorry?
Smartphones are also some integration of our right?
Yeah, this here I'm talking about is something that it disposes and you can also cut off things. Let's start there. Of course, the smartphones is an example of using multiple solutions, solving multiple problems in the same solution. Yeah, exactly. Now if you look at, actually toilet paper dispenser is one of those. I've seen in restaurants where they have this paper tablecloth, they comes in rolls, you take it out and such. So, but question is how do you abstract these ideas? You're going to have a bucket of different abstracted ideas. how things work in different places. Your job is, when you're given a problem, can you connect some of these ideas to create a whole new solution? Okay? So this is I know it is hard at this point. You're being kind of, this is the first time. But if you practice it, you will actually start to realize that it is really easy to come up with the craziest ideas. Okay. So the next strategy is, if you found a solution to a problem, find all the solutions to the same problem. Previous one was find all the problems that can be solved with the same solution. Here, so for example, this is a stapler. What does a stapler do? It puts paper together. Tell me all the other ways you can put paper together. Yeah, string, you can stitch it, you can bind it, you can stick it, you can spiral it, come up with different ways of doing it. Paper clip, yeah, that's it. So, anyone more than 15 ideas on the table? Count, keep count of your ideas. I think you guys are around there. All the whole team. Anyone more than 15? Wow. Okay. 1, 2. You are 20 or something. Okay. So, again, you are restricting yourself. You are filtering your ideas. The raw ideas have to come out. The moment you put the second editing phase in your thinking, you are losing almost 90% of your ideas. It needs to be raw. So it has to be as crazy and it doesn't matter. You need to come up with it. It doesn't need to work. They're all ideas. Okay? Let others figure out how to connect them. Okay, so that is the first filter that we have. The second filter that we have is that anything that we say has to be socially acceptable. That means it has to be legal, it has to be moral, it has to be just about all the other kind of things that our parents have taught us. Okay? So, I would like you to come up with ideas. That could have murders, that can have killing, stealing, just about all kinds of, doesn't matter what, they're only your ideas. You're not like going out and doing any of these things. Just ideas. But step outside the moral boundaries that we have built for ourselves. Okay? If you went to your boss and gave the idea, you should get fired. Okay? For coming up with those ideas. You should get into trouble for suggesting such an idea. It doesn't have to be moral or legal or anything. So you have 2 minutes to come up with you can have, as I said, you can have all kinds of things in there, okay? But don't follow it when you leave the room, okay? So starting now, 2 minutes. Speak up. Yeah, this is getting more interesting. I know there is a rebel in you which wants to speak up, okay? So bring it up. Nobody is judging each other for saying those ideas, okay? I want to hear some of the most off-topic ideas here. Okay, the most craziest ideas. Anyone? What is this? Say it out. Yeah? Offline subject? Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, these are all unconventional, socially unacceptable ideas. That's wonderful. Okay, so the third constraint that we have is that anything that we come up with, we suggest, we believe it has to be feasible. So 30 years back, if I told you that I can take out a piece of glass and talk to anyone and speak with anyone, and they will say, that's magic. No, that's fantasy. Today you can do that with your phone. Okay? You can actually reach all kinds of things with that. So your imagination should always be well beyond technology. That is the only way technology progresses, because somebody imagines something so far out. Artists are really, really good at this. They are not limited by what is possible today. Engineers are really crappy at this. Before you can even suggest an idea, you think of all these AIs and IoTs and all these kind of things in your head. Those are all the limitations. How do you get outside of what is feasible? So your job is to come up with ideas that will have magic or fantasy. You can have, disappearing cloak to, magic wand, just about anything. It doesn't matter. Technology doesn't exist. But come up with the craziest ideas that is not feasible today. You can call it magic trick. Okay? We'll let the technology come later. So you have 2 minutes to come up with more ideas that have magic or fantasy. While we go through this. Okay. And so of all the ideas, all the methods of ideation, the one I use, most of the time when I'm alone, because most of the ideas that you get are not, you may not have an opportunity to collect a lot of people with sticky notes and things like that. So the way you exercise, at least this is how I do. The way I exercise my ideation process is through looking at things and extracting from that. I'll show you. So if I show you random pictures, can you abstract what you see and connect your ideas with any of those things that make sense? Okay. So these are all just random pictures from Google, by the way. I didn't take any of these things. So the moment I see this, I see sand, I see shoes, jeans, blue sky. I can think of somebody going out for a walk, or maybe somebody's dead. And who knows? So from there it's okay. Can we have outdoor activities? Can we have kids to go out and do things? Hiking. Just you can actually pick ideas from there and then run off at angles. Or I can think of journey. I can think of how do we? This is completely restricted. You're not actually on the ground, so that means how do you go into isolated places and spend time and be creative without actually being on the phone? So how do you take an image and abstract it and then just take it to the extreme? I've had multiple patterns from ideas that have come up from while you're washing dishes and cleaning the house and all that, and then suddenly you start to see anything and start to connect. And you suddenly start to see that a whole bunch of new ideas have come up, which are outside the normal way of thinking. How do you look at art, creativity, poetry, literature? Don't stop at what you see. Now, how do you get children into those kind of things to distract them from just the phones? Or I see vegetables, I see baskets. How do you get kids into crafts and maybe farming and stuff like that? So you only see pictures, but suddenly you start to draw lines and think of ideas, and then as you go out, you start to see a table full of ideas. Okay? So I would like to. What are the number of counts? Do you have anyone? Anyone above 30? Come on, guys. This is okay. 30. Good. Okay. So I know this is hard. I know that the inner thing is don't say anything that others is going to laugh at. Okay. So you're editing your ideas. So that doesn't actually add much value. You're going to come back with the same ideas others would have thought about. The moment you edit it, you all have same uniform ideas. Because our life experience is pretty uniform. Okay? So the question is, but our inner engine that we have inside is so colorful. It is creating so many things. And you have already put so many filters. And what comes out is the most boring ideas. And what I'm trying to say, how to take those filters out. Okay? That is where the real value is. Okay? So, I'd like you to discuss amongst yourself with all the ideas that you have and present one idea for me. Okay? That should be voted by all of you. I think let's start with, they had the first plate. Okay. Okay, listen up. Okay? And
Playing with the characters in the cartoon using 3D holograms.
play with the cartoons using 3D hologram. Okay. So this is on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Not on the phone, yeah, using the virtual.
Oh, okay. So you're virtual.
We can create
hologram.
3D
Okay, not on the
hologram.
phone.
They
Okay.
play with it.
Okay. So you're interacting with virtual stuff. Okay, good. Who else? Who else have ideas? Okay, this team is ready.
Moving park in a box, like they contain a park in a box. It will be a small box, and when you press of a button, it will expand big area, and children can come to outdoor activities over there. So, like in a small suitcase-like box, we press a button, it goes in a whole.
So you're creating a playing environment,
Yeah.
which is like portable in a
Yeah,
box and can
yeah.
play with it. Good, good. Others?
Okay, it's a pretty odd idea. So the name of this thing is actually Super Angry Device Control.
Super?
Angry Device Control.
Okay.
Okay, 3 chances will be given after the time usage. First of all, if the guy does not put the phone down, he dismantled his waste. Then second of all, the phone will locally abuse him. Then third of all, the phone will blast.
Okay? Good. That will be the ultimate punishment. Who else?
Equipment,
Okay, listen up guys. Please.
equipment that gives the kids to some superpowers, some badges, and some specs if he wears specs, he can fly, and he look into anything using the specs that blocks. And a watch, if he lift any weighted things, it lifts. And if a pen, if he draws in with that pen, the thing it comes.
So this is nothing to do with the phone. Question is, these are outside devices and interfaces that can give you superpowers.
Yeah.
Good, fantastic. Others? Just pass the microphone around. So
at 18 I'm supposed to end kids.
that's fine. It's good.
Not just a boyfriend and girlfriend, like people with the same ideas, same.
You guys have dirty fights.
And all those kinds of stuff, with a parent monitoring.
Okay. Okay, good. Give a phone to this.
So what is the most sensational thing now is that it is taken our Instagram, YouTube website, TikTok and Reels. So this we are trying to say same thing but in the real world. If you say give a like to take a photo or give a arena or some kind of a picture, it will realize what the craziest thing you can do using AI. And it will give you what all things you can do, and it will also give you some other creative stuff to do also. And what is the thing is that the kids can do it, they can share it, they can even modify, share like what else you can do on the same phenomenon. And they can create a whole new community, like one for creative, one for the craziest thing, one for the more design.
Okay. So just to abstract what you're saying, instead of being a consumer on a phone, you're going to be a learner that does create skills. Okay? Good. Others? Yeah, go ahead.
Like a developer, you know inside and you choose some estimations and you teleport you there.
Teleport you there, okay? Just pass it.
And
kids use mobile phones, their parents will be their parents friends will be noted like your children is using 1 hour of time.
Shame them. Shame the parents. Yeah. Okay. Because most of the kids who use a phone are because parents don't want to spend time. Whether they have other things to do, so they use a babysitter. That's a phone. Yeah, next.
Nowadays, other than children, parents are also using phones. So, the parents we can control it. So, I am saying that like we can develop a second Hitler. Who has a system, who has this school name Hitler school. So the children can't escape, they can't use the phone, they will have strict schedules. Even if they want to suicide, that is not possible.
Good. Crazy ideas. Okay.
If they don't listen and keep using the phone, they lose the finger.
They use them?
They lose the finger.
Okay. Others?
Thinking about the teleportation that people can travel from place to another.
Good. Okay. It's like the elevator takes you to places. Okay.
Like for the kids to unlock the phone, like we can develop a white wheel version of the blue wheel. The parents should set activities. Only if they complete those outdoor activities, they can unlock the phone. And if you spend 60% of the time for outdoor activities, you'll be awarded 30% of screen time. So, like, in order to unlock the phone itself, the kids should be able to complete these tasks successfully. And if you devote 60%, you should be awarded 40%. And the white wheel would be the parents itself. So they can set a task that kids want to be doing.
So you have to generate your own karma points. Okay, do good and then you get points that you can use.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else who wants to speak? So, Johnny Ive, who was the chief design officer for Apple, he once said, while ideas can ultimately be so powerful, they begin as fragile, barely formed parts, so easily missed and easily compromised, and so easily just squished. When you think about, imagine when the guy came up with the idea for Uber and said, we're going to ask people to drive each other. Somebody would have said, that's not going to work. Let's go to the next idea. Okay, at that point, that idea is so fragile. Okay, I'll tell you a case. At MIT, one of the grad students' thesis was to, this is close to 30 years back, to use GPS data and put it on a digital map and give directions to go from one place to the other. That was his master's thesis. Okay, what he uses GPS today. That was his master's thesis. MIT has a whole bunch of lawyers who file patents for all these things. And the lawyers looked at it and said, no, we don't want to file patent because somebody falls off the cliff, we'll be legally bound and nobody filed patent. Okay? And so this kid, like your age, he went out and started creating the technology, and that became GPS, and that became GPS units, that became GPS apps, and just about everything that you see. That idea at that point, even people at MIT who actually create technologies all the time, squish that idea. Okay, which became such a huge thing in the world. So at that stage, all I'm saying is that in this phase of design, of thinking, you don't know what is a good idea. And you cannot, from our own experience, say, this is not going to work or this is not good. There's zero chance that you can actually predict that. So, I'll open, we have a few minutes, I want to open up to Normally, when I run this program, I kind of start with design or kind of design thinking kind of approach, problem finding, opportunity finding, and solution creation, how to execute, how to manage people. Those are all parts of entrepreneur's job. Okay? Anyone in any startups? Anyone who is actually working on any ideas? Okay? Can you pitch your idea in 30 seconds? Go ahead. What's your idea? What are you working on?
My idea is an application which intended to reduce the queue system in facilities like banks, hospitals, clinics, tutors, and so on. What it does is, when you are appointing a queue banks, for example, the live token number will appear in your phone. So you don't have to wait in facilities like banks. You can spend your time for buying other things, like without waiting queues in facilities like banks.
Good. How many of you understood the problem? Okay. So, good. So, and how many of you understood the solution? And I don't think he has actually explained what the solution is. He wants to solve use an app. I don't know what architecture or what an algorithm or whatever else is. But interestingly, you could understand the problem. And we don't care about the solution. We care about the problem. Because if the problem doesn't resonate with you, why should the solution be of any relevance? Okay? So when you're thinking about a company or startup and such, spend as much time on the problem definition as possible. Because if the problem is real and if there are 100 million people facing this problem, even if your first solution doesn't work, it doesn't really matter because you go back with the problem is still there. But if your problem is not relevant, it doesn't matter if you have the most fancy names with all the three-letter acronyms, with all the technologies. If the problem is not real, there is no value to the work that you're doing. So, what he did was absolutely right. He started with defining the problem. Okay? So, I would actually say, how many of you have, on average, we spend 20% of our time waiting in lines. Okay? Put together, the country will waste close to about 1 billion man days. Okay? A year just waiting in lines. This is because of the queues and such. We have created a way of reducing this down by 50%, thereby saving 500 million man hours, so much GDP, productivity, and all those kind of things. Thereby we believe we can create a $100 million company. Okay? So what I'm saying is that start with the problem and talk about the impact. So that is one thing we haven't talked about. Bring in the impact part also to the discussion. Good. And the second part I want to say is that you're all kind of shy about speaking up. Which I can understand. But I was one of those who could not speak up. But I can tell you, if you do not speak your mind, if you do not communicate your ideas, somebody else will, and somebody else will own. You're all techies. Okay, techies have the thing that I can create ideas, but somebody else has to do the rest of it. Believe me, it is absolutely necessary skill to build. If not, somebody else will actually reap the reward of your ideas and take approaches. Okay? In many companies, engineers come in, they create things, engineers are fired because the company doesn't see the person who created all these ideas. They see the people who actually express the ideas. So, it's absolutely important. Okay, that's all. That's not done.
Yes, it was really an amazing session. I'm sure you must have really enjoyed the past 1.5 hours and clearly diverted your thinking style. You must have really changed by now. So I'm very sure the fire that, or rather the very creative way of thinking that you had just now will definitely enable you to, come up with very innovative ideas, product ideas, and I'm sure we will have a very good beginning here. So, thank you very much once again, sir. And he has been for the past quite a few years. He has been researching on the entrepreneurship and innovation. How to make the youth think innovatively and develop the entrepreneurial traits in there. So you can have, of course, this is a very informative. Actually, a lot of information about him, and this researchers and works are there in the site rajeshnair.me. You can just visit that and know more about what he has been doing. So thanks a lot, sir, for this wonderful session and making us think very much different in normally. So I would like to invite Srinath, the Secretary of Calicut Management Association, to say a few words to us.
Thank you, Lily. Hi, it's a wonderful session. I'm also being to the kind of innovation that, even though I'm having a commerce background, my passion brought me to the technology area. So throughout the session, what we learned is like, we have many filters which attached even when we are from a kid age. We are actually living in a holographic world. Every idea is whatever it has all been. There are many filters which is happening on the top of us, and the creative ideas what we are always bringing is all based on our inhibitions. So we keep on inventing various thoughts. Sometimes works, sometimes may not. But keep on inventing and keep on thinking is an inevitable thing. And it's an era where the metaverse is which is going to come, and only our imagination will work. And our age doesn't going to matter, or even our place is not going to matter in the coming era of metaverse, and nobody can actually escape out of it. We have been interacting with that, and another opportunity from a kid to an older generation also is going to be the same in the coming era, and you guys need to work out much more innovative manner than only the technology or the jobs which are available in the market is going to disappear very quickly without even knowing about it, because newer and newer descriptions are coming up which nobody not even talking about it. So it's a great session and thought-provoking and mind-blowing, and we need these kinds of sessions in order to promote ourselves as an innovative person. So thank you so much, and I've been part of Calicut Management Association. I urge you to be a part of that, so that more and more thought-provoking sessions like this can be part of our life. Thank you so much. Yeah, so today, as a part of Calicut Management Association's Silver Jubilee series, we are having a program with this. So I like all of you to be a part of that. I can also share the details with you. We have a program at Malova Palace today evening at 7 o'clock. So please join. He'll be the person who is delivering the program on that. Thank you so much.
The topic of that is nurturing 1 million entrepreneurs from undeserved communities. So that's going to be a totally different talk from him than what we have faced. This is an exercise making you the private and inclusive, but that is going to be a totally different talk. So personally inviting on behalf of CMA or all of you, we can gather at 7 p.m. at Malava Palace. that is a different context. I wish somebody from the attendees have a, is it possible? If anybody can just give a feedback regarding what is the deliverables we are accepting, what are the processes and how that will be.
Yeah, anybody can come up with a quick feedback, please.
Because normally, secretaries come and talk about unpleasant things. You actually have mind bonding. So your session was wonderful, it was interactive, and it made us to think in a new direction. Thank you.
Stand up.
I would like to thank sir and CMA and IIC for organizing this event actually. Because it made us think out of the box. Actually, this is what we as students really are not thinking about in our academics. Usually we are sticking on to some boxes, some barriers. Your session made us think out of the box, sir.